Hey, it's Jason ODB, our lifestyle podcast, also known as OLP. This is issue 64 of Mini Truckin Magazine. It is a classic. Wes Anderson, I believe his name is. Truck graces the cover. Of course, Wes Allison shoots it. And this one is etched in many of our minds. I think that gold-ish color with the topper and that rolling shot is epic. Of course, inside the auto sound industry, on the cover there, you see exposed 30 big time bass speakers. Before we jump in, I want to give a huge shout out to Hammered Weekend Wear, HAMMERD, weekendwear.com. You see, this is the new designs that Mike and I have been talking about. Dig the lowness. So they've got that NBS, or newer body style. I can't keep up with the acronyms. One of the newer body style Chevys, full size. And then, of course, shout out to Matt. His Feltham Fab laced Chevy S10 with the topper graces the cover. He recently ran that rear back window that reminded me of the West Coast all those years ago. And you see there the website. So check them out. Show them some love. They're a big, partner with OLP, and we appreciate them. So let's jump in. Now, this is the second. Actually, there's only two covers, believe it or not, that have Nieper wheels. These are technically, I think, they were Nieper concepts. But if you think about Nieper, they had this issue, which is April 97, and then there was the August 96 issue, which was issue 56. That was Tom McQueenie's yellow Toyota. Believe it or not, those are the only two covers with Nieper wheels on the cover truck. So you basically have this weird ad, which I don't talk about a lot. It's just kind of weird, but you do have a convertible. That's awesome. You've got the magazine starting, believe it or not, starting to try to go online. So they talk about get online with McMullen Argus Publishing. And to me, that's a whole nother topic. I don't think that the magazine ever did a good enough job of having a great website. I know they went through many different things. They had that thing for a while, Great Rides or something. That was something that they pushed, at least Truckin did, very, very hard. But regardless, we see Tim Parker's Isuzu, as I like to say it, Street Boutique. I always like that photo because they did, the way they cropped it with the round. You see there, Costly Obsession with that epic Mazda, though, as the insert photo. So, anyways, just my little commentary. You guys know how I like to do. Thank you, guys. Please leave a comment, subscribe. It really helps. So, about 6-7-ish features in this one. It was jam-packed. I always like when they would put the little sunburst, I think they're called, so to kind of reinforce cover truck. Typically is going to be kind of mid-magazine, so episode, page 50. You see plenty of tech, and Wes Anderson's Nissan Hardbody does its best impression of a road racer during a seaside photo session with Wes Allison, of course, PCH, short for Pacific Coast Highway. And something my buddy Paul and I talked about years ago, there's a Truckin cover, and I think it was a Expedition, and you could see on some of the rolling shots over the course of time, someone would have to chime in on this one if it's really a rolling shot. Now, I assume that it is based upon the glare and stuff, but in some rolling shots, like when Photoshop and these different programs started, and the photographer started to get in digital and whatnot, and I'm sure even somehow on film, they were able to take a still photo and make it look like the wheel was spinning. So I'm always curious, does anybody know, was this truly a rolling shot? If you look here, if it's rolling down PCH and it's a kind of a curvy road, and, you see the lines here, and you can kind of see here, I don't know if that's the other side of the road, maybe it is, but I mean, if it's a curvy road, are they really going to say, okay, yeah, you drive and we'll just keep going over to the right and Wes is hanging out the window? I don't know. So I'm always curious, was this really a rolling shot? Wes Allison would know, I'm sure Shartsis and anybody that knew him. I'll add it to the database. Those little facts I like to, of course, kind of key in on. So here, tips on getting your black or white Mini photographed for Mini Truckin magazine. So this was a long kind of standing thing that some of the editors would do, and even some of the contributors. They would talk about, a question they would get a lot of, like, how do I get featured in the magazine? And they would talk about, submitting your own photos, key things to do if you were submitting photos. But obviously a black and or white mini truck, or any vehicle for that matter, were maybe a little bit tougher to get on the cover. So they were actually giving some intel on that. You can see there, they talk about not all letters received, receive a personal response. And you see there the standard automotive publishing answer given is they don't photograph well. True or false? The fact is, for a black or white truck to be featured between these pages, or in any other publication for that matter, it has to be extraordinarily unique. And what's ironic is the next issue I had to kind of look over is a white truck on the cover. So obviously he had to know that was coming, and it's a coast-to-coast show coverage, and it's a wheel design for 97 issue, which is Ruben Arteaga's truck. We'll talk about that next time, but how ironic was it that they were talking about that in April, and the next truck was a white truck on the cover. So here you go. This is 3rd Annual Garden State All Truck Nationals. And you got some super cool trucks here. Love this truck. Love that style. The colors, some of the paint inside the wheel there to kind of color match. Blazers were obviously all the rage. Look at the wheels. How ironic is it that those wheels are still a huge thing now? Obviously a little bit bigger size, but it just kind of shows like a timeless design. Certainly will live on. Super clean. I remember seeing this Mazda in show coverage. Centerline wheels, those were super popular at that time. And Russell Taylor's debuted 90 Ford Ranger. It's worth noting we're still not kind of to the crazy, body dropped on every cover. I actually thoroughly enjoy the fact that, in this era, you had, multiple, trucks. We haven't gotten to that period where it's like body drop, body drop, body drop. And it's great that, although we all love body drops, we love low trucks, that, we're still, nowadays you can even have something static and it's cool. It's accepted, Speaking of that, Mike was giving me a hard time on the podcast. My 90 Mazda, I'm going to keep static dropped. I've got some other big plans for it. I got a topple mic, maybe some gull wing doors. We'll have to see. But we'll have to see. Here is the Isuzu. I don't know if this was the one that had the tag Hot Nicks on it. I always remember seeing that one, but those things are still super cool laid out. Of course, I owned one, but it was, ironically enough, just static dropped, and it was a daily driver. When I first took my S10 off the road, that's what I was doing. I was rocking the Amigo. Here, Mike Shartzis does the write-up, but photography was Mini Truckin staff. I kind of hate when they do that, whether someone had left, they didn't want to give credit, maybe they, didn't know. There was some reason, but I kind of hate when that was done because we didn't really know who shot the photos. That made it tough for me to kind of build my database with the cover trucks, but luckily for the cover trucks, that wasn't often used. Those are Momo wheels, right? I remember when that was a big thing with the little color matched deals. That style was around a little while with a kind of different graphics. Don't really see that too much these days. Not saying it's good, not saying it's bad. Just kind of trends come and go around that whole kind of Euro era. Trying to make these as efficient as possible. And again, as I'm flipping through all these ads, check out Hammered Weekend Wear, HAMMERD, weekendwear.com. They've got banners. They've got pretty big banners, bigger banners than we do. And they've got a lot of cool stuff. So Beyond Reality. So this club, if I remember correctly, was kind of like the Midwest. I always remember the Mazda that was in Beyond Reality, which I had hanging in my office at work for so many years. This era to me will never get old. we may not see a lot of minis with wire wheels, but man, a black truck with the fender trim and chrome wire wheels, dude, super clean engine, that interior, dude, you got to have the gas door deal, the chrome, and beyond reality, they kind of used, I think they used the same font for the Mazda, and I love that Mazda. We'll get to it eventually. It can't be that far off, but there you see Vice Prez, St. Louis, and shout out to Art Gordon. Now, I'm going on memory here, so don't kill me. But when I read his name, I think Art was the one that had the Mazda too. And you guys will know that Mazda. Someone had sent me photos, and I was so excited to share those. And a lot of people chimed in. But, yeah, we'll be getting to that one. So here's something pretty cool. The CES, also known as Consumer Electronics Show, I loved when they did that's Chartsis there, right? And maybe I should know this. Maybe I just figured this out. Was that Mike Chartsis? So we're on page. We'll put this placeholder. Was that Mike Chartsis? I don't know. But it kind of weird ads. But they get the point across, right? So maybe it is, because look. Or maybe, who knows? Okay. But the thing that I thought was pretty cool about this is, being that it was CES, it was the Consumer Electronics Show, still going on, but obviously consumer electronics are insane now. Everything from cell phones to, stuff for your house. In this era, I never went to CES, but it was mostly dubbed as, car audio stuff, right? So you see everything from Vegas to MTX. This was a huge era for mini trucking too, because you'd have cover trucks here. And, nowadays, C10s and hot rods and all that stuff is, so big at SEMA. But mini trucks were the perfect display, including the Astrovans and Safaris, for, different booths, so to speak. So you see Consumer Electronics Show, kind of like that font there. And then you get a chance to see kind of SEMA, which was, a couple months later in January of, of course, the following year. Here's the base driver buyer's guide. And I've been looking at old school car audio on eBay, and it is crazy to see what some of the prices are, anywhere from pull-out tape cassettes, all that stuff. It's real hot right now. I was actually looking literally this week at a Cerwin-Vega stroker that was kind of never used. This was, when you hear of I say that in the Vegas we're pumping. Mike doesn't remember that for some reason, but this is the Cerwin-Vega stroker, and I've mentioned this before. A kid that we went to high school with had one of these. The brother of the guy that really kind of helped springboard my buddy Paul, I think, kind of doing some custom car audio, at least in the beginning, kind of giving him a couple tips. He went to school with us. His name was Sheldon, and he had one of these, and I remember just hearing it a couple of times, and man, it just was insane. And Sheldon's brother was the one that was the car audio junkie that had built the box. But regardless, my friend Paul and I have talked about it. Oftentimes the technology is so far advanced now, you wouldn't, unless you're really building a nostalgic certain type of vehicle, you probably wouldn't want to go spend a lot on older car audio, because you don't know if does it work, this and that. What are the cones like and stuff. But certainly I'm kind of dabbling in maybe doing some retro throwback stuff, so we'll see. So here you have April 97, the Epic cover truck. I love this photo shoot. Wes Allison is truly an icon. We've talked about, his first cover with Franklin House's Blazer. We'll talk more about him, don't worry. But this truck, you look at, the speaker box there, and the Nieper wheels. This is one, obviously, most kids are going to rip out or bend those staples. That's an epic layout there. Of course, relaxed atmosphere. So these guys were killing it. They're still killing it. You see on the back glass. I like all the tinted windows. Super clean, nothing crazy overdone. Now, by the standards of that era, I mean, certainly this was like the shit. But you think about it now and you go, man, you know, it was doable. But again, a lot of hard work, and tip of the cap to Wes, because I mean, this is just a super badass truck. I love these boxes, you know, where the subs, you can see the back end of them, or the magnet, so to speak. And I gotta have some tweed in my Mazda. You know, this to me is awesome. And then whether, I guess just for show, they had the little panel there to put over the gauges. You of course got your billet for your AC vents. Enjoy the Ride was the title of this one, and man, dude, tip of the cap, man. I would rock that thing all day, every day. Okay, Iasca Finals. So Iasca was obviously still going around, you know, for those crazy audiophiles and you know, folks that are really into high-end car audio. You see a lot of cool stuff there. I mean, check that out. You've got the topper lifts up. I mean, Mike needs to step his game up with Project Bananarama hammock. He's falling behind. So here's one bad OG. So we kind of saw this earlier. See what happens when you join a truck club. And of course, this was by Tom Lutz. Chris Schmidt, shout out to Chris. He's been on the podcast before. He's certainly a great dude. He shot this one. Love the colors. Kind of has that that 80s vibe to it as far as the colors, at least in my opinion. And look, you didn't even have to have a roll pan. The truck I have doesn't have a roll pan. You've got your fender trim, centerline wheels. You got the NC logo there. All the clean white paint. Freaking badass. You know, that's all you needed. Just a 2-page feature. Boom. Straight fire. Slammin Jammin. So I remember this show around the time I was getting in the scene, which was about, you know, 95, 96, although I had been reading the magazines. 96 is when I started going to shows. But I started, you know, obviously reading the magazines before then. And I remember hearing of Slammin Jammin. In fact, I cannot remember. I'd have to maybe get to it, but there was an ad that I had called. There was a guy in Virginia, I want to say, and I had bought my first air gauges and airline. It was basically an airbag kit for my S10 that Matt Torgerson installed. It came from a guy, I believe, in Virginia. And seems like I was on the phone with him one time, and he was talking about Slammin Jammin and whatnot, kind of up in that area. Super clean truck there. Love the wheels. That trophy dough. And then look, the Mazda. So, I am going to try to wrap this up here in just a minute. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. Battery's getting a little low. And got a few other things to take care of tonight. I think there was a good amount of tech in here. So we'll kind of breeze through that. You got riding around. Every time I hear riding around, I think of riding around in your Jeep or your Benzos or in your Nissan sitting on Lorenzos. What song is that from? It's not Easy-E. Usac World Finals. So, same applies. You think about mini trucks and the palette of being able to just build whatever you want to build. I mean, this, you know, these were the vehicles, including Astros and Safaris, of course, that were just perfect for these shows, right? I mean, that's why there's so many mini trucks, because you had crazy stereos. You had the beds all done. Music box. So shout out to the homie from Canada on Instagram, BAR. I'm drawing a blank. He's a huge Astro and Safari fan. He collects like pretty much everything, all the magazines and all that stuff, and I love it. He always chimes in on the posts. I think he's in Canada. All right, some more tech. What's up? You can see how much stuff was going on there. Here you've got Sketchpad. Thanks to everybody that's listened to episode 300. If you haven't, please do so. Go out there and check out episode 300. I did want to have Ryan Gendro on. It did not work out. Believe me, we both tried. This is, of course, making the switch. Talking about bagging. It didn't work out with Gendro. We'll get him eventually, but it did work out. I want to thank the NC guys for coming through Florida and Australia. It kind of tied in nicely. I need to do something, a Severed episode, because, Severed's getting ready to celebrate their 30th. That's Severed in the Midwest. So that's going to be pretty cool. Look at that. Isuzu. Fire. With those wheels. This Isuzu. Fire. Epic times. And then this is the one, I think, from Michigan. I think he chimes in on our post here and there. But Severed in the Midwest is getting ready to come up, which is a week from this weekend. So this weekend is the Spark Show in Sevierville, Tennessee. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. I really did want to make it this year, but just can't. Got some family stuff going on. Orange peel. Super clean. And I want to say, looking at those, they look like Colorado custom wheels. Pro Hopper ad. Soundstream back cover. There you go. Issue 64. Mini Truckin Magazine. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Check out OLP, also known as Our Lifestyle Podcast. You can search OLP via your favorite podcast app, including Apple Podcasts. Give us a subscribe and or follow. It's totally free. We're going on, we passed 7 years. Stay on the rise, y'all. Shout out to the fam, Hammered Weekend Wear. We out to you.